Okay, I would like to continue to show you some games from this wonderful book. I forgot to show you the back of this cover because as we can see in the back cover there is Tal, Anand, Magnus Carlsen, Kramnik, Spassky. So clearly not only a beautiful book for the games chosen and the stories, but also for the art cover. It's clearly worth it to buy it. And why it's worth it to buy it? In my opinion, not only because you learn stuff from this book, learn some ideas, you can see the calculation prowess we just saw of against Alekhine 26 game. The calculations were very, very deep, and yet the game was really pleasant to watch. In any case, the next champion we watch is Kramnik, because honestly I didn't know much about Kramnik, and so I would like to share this with the people viewing my videos. Okay, the game I choose to show you is at page 226 between Kasparov Gary and Kramnik Vladimir. It was played in Dos Hermanos in 1996. And here the author writes, in 1996 Kasparov was still very much the man to beat. His occasional losses were almost always superbly well-played games, simply because that is what it took to beat him. So, Kasparov white, Kramnik black, okay? d4, d5, c4, c6, knight c3, knight f6, knight f3, e6, e3, knight b d7, and bishop d3. Allowing the sharp Meran variation, nowadays the slightly more reticent queen c2 is the popular move. Okay? Now I play this instead of bishop d3. d takes c4, bishop takes c4, b5, bishop d3, bishop b7, castle, a6, e4, c5, and now there is d5. This is where the position becomes complicated. There are many ways for black to combat white's central breakthrough. What they all have in common is that black has to play aggressively in order to avoid being pushed back. c4, bishop c2, queen c7, knight d4, and knight c5, postponing the decision between an open e takes d5 or close e5. Middle game. Black is keeping as many options open as possible. There is also the question of where his king should go, which he also leaves unresolved for the moment. This is very ambitious opening play indeed. Kasparov now attempts to punish black by opening up the queen side, which he achieves typically at the cost of a pawn. So let's see what does he do. He plays b4, c takes b3, this is called en passant, and a takes b3, b4, knight a4, knight c takes e4, and bishop takes e4. A novelty. White is hoping to improve the older move, which was d takes e6. Okay, because d takes e6 there was rook d8, e takes f7, a king takes f7, and this leaves black with beautifully developed pieces, compensating for the exposed position of his king. Okay, so this is kind of very interesting. Yeah. So bishop takes e4. So imagine we are at move 17. Move 17. This novelty could have been homework for Kasparov, because everyone says that he had a very special opening library. So move 17, and this is 1996, so I don't think he concocted this novelty thanks to a computer, because probably in 1996 they were like 2200 and not grandmaster level. Knight takes e4, d takes e6, and bishop d6. Boom, good move. So we are now entering the type of territory where both Kasparov and Kramnik felt thoroughly at home. It requires not just deep and precise calculation, but also an intuitive feeling for what the position wants. Black's move may look rather obvious at first sight, yet the consequences are far-reaching. The seemingly natural castle queenside would have been met by bishop e3, and black is in trouble. Yeah, so if he castle there, bishop e3, because then the rook c1 goes on the open file. But bishop d6, we have a problem of e takes f7, and now there is queen takes f7. Wow. A crucial difference to the variation with 17 d takes e6 mentioned above. Yeah. He couldn't take with the king because there would have been queen h5. Okay, so that would have been a big mess. f3. Wow. Queen h5. That's interesting. So notice that he cannot take here because it starts to become a mess. He can get checkmated probably. That's interesting, huh? Everybody, in fact, yeah, he plays g3, so that is the problem. Castle, it's not finished. But it seems it would have been stronger to take instead of castle, okay? But let's see what happens. F takes e4, and the queen h3. And then there is this, huh? Black is a full piece down, and if you look at the position shown superficially, you could be forgiven for thinking that white's pieces seem well placed to cope with the threat. But even Kasparov can't always find his way in a true maze of variation. Besides, he didn't like defending. Should Kramnik at this point have proposed to swap side, Kasparov might readily have agreed. Yeah, obviously Kasparov attacking player. However, it seems that he was very much attacking in 1985, and thanks to the matches with Karpov, he learned to go a little slower. Knight f3. This logical move, the knight defends the king side, and the bishop on d6 is attack. Well, this logical move is criticized by Kramnik. Instead, he recommends that he should have played rook a2. which is indeed even more logical. And there is a line here, okay, to explain why. Bishop takes g3, wow, beautiful, beautiful game. Already here you can see it's a beautiful game, because if you didn't know the identity of the two players, you could think, oh well, maybe it's a game played in the romantic period, they were not so good, but Kasparov and Kramnik, they were that good. Knight c5 is a mistake, because now white loses by force. But how difficult is to see this? Okay, so what is the move? And here you learn how to defend yourself that would have kept the position. Well, Kramnik says queen e2, okay, and there is a line which proves it. So again, it's we are just enjoying the game. These people were actually trying to survive or win. Rook takes f3, rook takes f3, queen takes h2. And now we see why it was important, the rook a2, that it was proposed by Kramnik before, or the queen a2, because that pawn needed to be defended, right? King f1. It looks as if white has found a strong defense, but now comes the crunch. Bishop c6. Who would have thought that a quiet move would be the decider in a position where everything seems to revolve around speed? What is the threat here? The threat is bishop b5. Boom. Do you notice that everything is control? Okay? Okay. Bishop g5. And if you want, what would you do if white would have played this? Okay? You need to decide. Bishop g5, bishop b5, knight d3, and rook e8. Black is a rook down, yet white's king is surrounded by enemy pieces. Rook a2, queen h1. Now the author says the computer engines disapprove of this move and point out that knight takes d3 with a long line about 3 moves would have been a mate in 4 moves. Okay. But when a human being is the heat of a battle and has spotted a certain win, he doesn't always stop to look for a quicker one. So here we have a little funny thing. Lasker said, when you find a good move, this, look for a better one. The better one would have been this, but of course we don't know what was the time control, how much time Kramnik had, and if this is winning, why not playing? No? King e2, rook takes e4, king d2, queen g2, rook c, so king c1, boom, rook takes g3, queen a1, king c2, queen c3, king b1, rook d4, and white resigned. Now you say, but look, white can play this, right? So please try to analyze and discover why that move is easily refuted. Okay, so pause the video and you will discover why. I will tell you why. Bishop takes d3, king a2, bishop b1, queen takes b1, and rook d2 with mate, checkmate that follows. Okay. a beautiful, beautiful game. Yeah. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it, and there are still a couple of champions that I would like to share from this book.